Hello, and welcome to the Her Sports Show, where we provide insight into the women's game across various sports. With high profile guests and taboo breaking discussions, the Her Sports Show is here to empower women in sport. Let's get into it.
Okay, so Gabriella, very random question. If you were to open your fridge and pick one item from your fridge, which item do you think would best describe you?
I have to say peanut butter. It's mostly not in the fridge, but it's the peanut butter.
Awesome. And why would you say peanut butter?
I think it's a fuel of energy. I use it in everything, and I also eat. It's quite weird, but I eat like oatmeal with soya, and I put like a little bit of peanut butter, and I put like spinach in it, and that's my whole fuel in the start
That
of.
sounds very nice. Yeah. And then what would you say is one country you hope you would be able to visit and maybe even run in that country?
You know, now for me, I think a lot about Arizona, the States. It's Grand Canyon. So yeah, must be the US.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Arizona.
Yeah, that's cool. I've also actually always wanted to go there. So we'll see what happens. um, and then if you had if you had to pick one color that best describes you, which color would you pick?
I think purple.
Okay. Yeah. Purple's a nice color as well. Very diverse.
Yeah, and they have also a cool meaning of hope. So
Okay, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so we'll get right into it. So Gabriella, you recently competed in the Beyond the Ultimate Jungle Ultra. And just to give a bit of context for those who are watching or listening, it's a 5-stage race that only 50 people have managed to complete, despite over 300 attempts to cross the finish. This year, 25 people signed up to race, but only 6 people managed to get through all 5 stages. The race is over 230 kilometers deep in the Amazon rainforest. And Gabriella, you became the first woman finisher. So do you remember how you felt when you crossed that finish line?
it was amazing. It was an amazing finish line, and I can see when I see like the video of myself, I'm like shaking my head, and I just couldn't believe it. And it was so many people there, the crew, the other runners, and it was just amazing, amazing emotional moment. Amazing.
Yeah. And can you also quickly just paint a picture of the environment that you're actually running in?
Wow. It's like, I think the Amazon is like no other place in the whole world. Just when we started the race, we ran through like a jungle valley when the race started, and it was like 5 ecosystems. Just like some kilometers, it was like we were running through 5 ecosystems, and the jungle is so colorful. And the environment is like so much alive. Everything is alive, just as you like watch like the ground. You look down if you take the time, and you can just see everything on the ground like moving. And it was like this beautiful. They were like, I will say, electric blue butterflies, because they were really had color, like neon. So it was so amazing, and they were like like your hands, like two, like this, and they were amazing and so beautiful. Big butterflies, and you were just like in awe of the whole environment, but it's very hostile.
Yeah. So also, which equipment did you take with you for this race?
Come again?
What equipment did you take with you, or what was everything that you had during the race?
You know, you pack like your backpack, and you have to have like your food for every day. So you have to like plan your food, what you should eat, and like the equipment, the medical equipment was really critical in this race, because you really had to, you got a lot of wounds on your upper body, and you had to have like cortisone like cream and for bacterial infections, and really take care of yourself. A lot of equipment, medical. Yeah, and you have your sleeping bag. I had a lightweight sleeping bag. It was about 250 like gram, and also your hammock and your mosquito netting. And you also had to like run with a knife, so that was kind of different for protection because of the animals and stuff. So yeah, so you had food for 5 days and your medical gear, and yeah, I had poles, yeah, stuff like that. So
And what would you say were some of the most challenging moments that you had during the race?
it was a lot of river crossings.
Okay.
And you have your backpack, and at one time in the race, you were basically 10 kilometers in the river. So it was just like on the side of the river, it was just jungle on the sides. Because in Amazon, the main, like, if you should like cross stuff, you have to cross rivers. That's like the way in the jungle. So I think, but I did it really well. But I have been in rivers, but not like that. It was rope, and you have to think really differently. So it's, you have to like have the stream of the river in front of your knees, don't in the back if like the stream is powerful and strong. So you really had to like use your mind a lot and be clever. But basically in this race, everything was hard, and it just unfold itself. So it get like harder and harder and harder. And it was really slippery, and the environment was really tough, really tough. Everything you fell a lot, so you couldn't like touch anything because everything wants to like hurt you because it really wants to defend itself. It was like plants there, they just and it come like out like gas, and it was like poison. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So like just talk me through also those moments where you had all these things which you were aware like, okay, it's very dangerous where I'm running. What kept you motivated, and yeah, how did you get through those challenging times as well?
You know, when I go, I'm like, I'm so, it's not an option for me to not like do it. So I'm really strong, but I defend like here in Norway a women's center. It's called Center, and it's like a center for women in prostitution. So always when I like start to fall apart on my, because it's really extreme races, I always think about like the women's center, and also when things really get tough, I just cry things out, and I just keep going. So
Yeah. And yeah, I think that element of also just crying, a lot of people have that, maybe they have that perception that athletes are always tough, and they yeah, maybe won't necessarily show their emotions that easily. So yeah, it's really cool that you actually sometimes, like you said, you sometimes have those moments where if you feel the need, you need to just be let your emotions out, you let your emotions out, even if you're busy running.
yeah, and I think it's, I think it actually can take more energy, and if you're like holding it back, you just let it out, and you just actually like feel better. But you know, when I run, because I like defend the women's center, but I think when you do like a big goal, you have to find something like what you have inside you, because I think we all run for our own personal reasons and we have our goals, but you have to find something in yourself like, yeah, that it's, you know, it's fire, like something inside you. You just hold to it, and when, like, in my language, like shit hits the fans, you just pick it up and you just, yeah, go.
Yeah. That's great. And yeah, I think just to touch a bit on your journey as well. So yeah, quite a tough upbringing to becoming an accomplished runner, growing up in a dysfunctional home, battled a life through drug addiction and prostitution. You also had your right arm amputated. So can you maybe please share what was that turning point in your life that led to you deciding to get clean?
It was a lot of things. When I grew up, I always understand that it wasn't like the way it should be, like violence and drugs. I could see the other kids, and I did understand early on that this is not, it shouldn't be like this. And I also had big dreams. I wanted to go to Alaska. I had like wild fantasy. I just had many dreams. And so I think I had like something in me that I really kept inside of me. But really, the turn in my life was that when I grew up, I had an aunt and I had a cousin who really, they loved me and defended me, and you know, so they were basically the only people I had to get support when I grew up. And then my cousin, she got a deadly cancer diagnosis. She was only 27. So my aunt, she said to me while my cousin were like dying and was sick, and she like looked at me and she said to me, you know, now, Anka, that's my cousin, she's going to die. I'm going to lose my daughter, and her children are also going to lose their mother. And she said to me and looked me straight in the eyes, and she said to me, can you please promise me to stop use heroin, because you don't have to die. And after that, just 5 days after, my aunt took her life. And then it was like, then it became like a life mission for me to like keep my promise to my aunt, and also give myself the life I always felt that I really deserved, but I didn't get the chance because of the how I grew up. So, but that was really the big turning point. So
yeah, thanks for sharing that.
yeah.
And yeah, so after all of that, how did you end up in the running?
You know, I was always in my way had this a lot of like force in me, a lot of power, and I needed to like have an expression for it. And also I had a really traumatic upbringing. So when I started running, I was like running for my life. I was like running with like somebody's was like demons were like chasing me or something. But it also was like a way to like a ventil, so I could like get out all of my frustration, like and everything. But it's been a really empowering and amazing journey, because when I started, it was like it's so different now, but like little by little, I challenged myself. I moved to the mountain. I go to these amazing tracks in the mountain. I get like new memories. Like in the process, I became like stronger and more grounded in myself. So it's like been a really process and a big journey. And I met also a lot of amazing people. I just changed out my bad memories with new memories, with the trekking in the mountain and the running and new experiences. So now, when I'm like outdoors, I run, I do competition, I'm really happy, and that's like the part of me who is like my memories and stuff. It's like, you know what I mean? It's so yeah.
Yeah. And would you say as well that like you mentioning finally feeling like you can have like an element of control over your life, would you say it was because of running that you could experience that for the first time? And if you look back as well from when you were a child, always wanting that adventure and everything, I can imagine that it was linked.
Yeah, it gave me a sense of control. It gave me self-esteem, because it was really, I did something and I really mastered it, and I became so proud of myself. And it helped me see myself in my own process. And yeah, it's just been an amazing like journey. And I think running also give you like really amazing experiences in life. You can travel and run wherever you want, and it's no boundaries. You can like end up in the Atacama deserts, or like in Namibia with the world's like largest like dunes. So I think it's such a big, amazing world, and it always keeps me like dreaming and to like push myself. And yeah, I absolutely love it in so many ways.
Do you remember the first marathon that you signed up for?
Yes.
And what was that, and how did it go?
It was Oslo Marathon. And it was so, I actually had an injury in my leg. So it was some years back. And I was actually having an operation because of my injury. So it was like the 16th of September. And I was like having the operation the 19th or something. So I said to like my, but the goal was so important for me, you know, that race. It was my first marathon. I had worked like hard for it, everything. And the doctor said, "Oh, you can't run a marathon." And I said, "I'm going to." But he didn't believe me. So I went to my first race. Uh, and I also find my new friends there. Like in like the process, they're still my friends, but it was an amazing race, and I was so proud of myself. And it just, yeah, everything was amazing. And it was so funny because some days after, I was like limping a little bit into like the hospital because, yeah, just ran a marathon. And the doctor said to me, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" And I said like, "Oh, I just ran marathons a couple of days ago." And he was like, and I said, "Oh, it's fine. We can take the operation." And he was like, "Yeah, yeah." And yeah, took the operation and
That is amazing. I think it also just shows your willpower. It's crazy what if you set your mind to something, how you can actually do it if you just believe in yourself.
yeah, and you really, really can.
Mm.
And along the way, you will meet a lot of, you will get like misunderstood in your own, when you have a dream and it's personal for you, and you know, you have a dream and you get like misunderstood along the way, like in your goals, because the bigger dreams sometimes that you have, the more misunderstood you will get. But you know, it's so important to just, yeah, push it away. Don't listen to the naysayers and go after what you want, whatever it is. So,
That's really awesome. And do you also run with a prosthetic, or not?
no.
Okay.
So,
Mm.
I have a really good balance because I just adapted myself by going to the mountains, and I don't see it as any kind of like handicap at all. In the jungle, climbing ropes, going in the steep, it was like mud, and I was like all over the place, you know, and yeah, in the rivers, and yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. So the Beyond the Ultimate series of races, it includes some of the most extreme environments on Earth, and it's known as one of the most toughest race series in the world. So you sort of touched on it a bit, but if you can maybe go back to it as well, like what motivates you to take part in these challenging races?
I think it's really, really, really a unique way to experience the world, and it's quite untouched like places in the world. But you know, I really want to. I'm a big dreamer, and I really want to show myself through my races and others that really anything is like possible. So, but it's a course of drive there. I was like, I'm really, I love adventure, and I really feel alive when the elements are like hitting you. So that's when I really feel alive. So I truly love it too. In my way, I do like public speaking. I do my own like thing. I'm very like stubborn, but I also use my running to go out on stages and do public speaking and inspire others. So yeah.
And I think if we can also touch a bit on the mental side of running, because I know like sometimes when I used to think of running or runners growing up, it was very much just looking at the physical aspect of it, of you need to eat well, you need to train hard, like protect your body and everything. And I think in that you often forget about the mental and the emotional side of it. So yeah, I think you have mentioned it a bit as well, but like if you think about like the mental and emotional experience of running, like what would you say that is?
I will say that the mind is the most important thing, because if you really, it's like Henry Ford says, if you think that you can do it, like you can, and if you think that you can't do it, you can't do it, you know. When I took my first stage race, 250 kilometers in Africa, I didn't have so much experience. My backpack was too heavy. I had duct tape to get like take the sand because everything was like falling apart around my shoes. But you know, it was my first like extreme race, and I really, really, really wanted to do well. And I took the fourth place, and the people was like, oh my gosh, and I had so heavy backpack and everything. But you know, when I go for my goal, when I grew up, I always got told that, oh, you don't mean anything, you're like nothing to the world. So when I go into my like my goal, it means a lot. So you have to say to yourself, be a little bit your own voice, and you know, I'm going to do this, and like hype up yourself, and you will always have the other voice in your head like, oh, you can't do it, and all negative and stuff. But you should not listen to it, and just force and just hype up yourself, and I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, and just be a force. I'm not like a physical like miracle or something. I have some stuff, you know, my body, and but I don't let it like stop me. But I think the main thing when you do races is your salts and water, because no one is like collapsing so fast if you don't eat, because the body is really it's also designed to it's not designed to just give up or shut down, or just we are really the body can take a lot of stuff, but the one thing that the body can't like handle, it's like your water, dehydration, or salts, so, and your kidneys. So
That's interesting. Yeah, it's actually, I assume also you need to understand your body well if you're an athlete. And like you said now, understanding its needs. And thanks for sharing that as well. I learned something new today.
But the water is really complex, because if you see the swelling in the feet, that's actually your kidneys who's telling you that you need more salt and water. So if your feet get a little bit swollen, and it's a lot of physical stuff like happens in the body. So like salts, to get enough salts and water is like the main thing. So
okay, thanks for that. And I think that sort of also leads into the next question. So you run mountains, deserts, rainforests, so you've done quite a bit of experience there. So how do you train in a way that helps you adapt to the different terrains and environments that you're going to be running in?
It's I think it's because I live in the mountains. So it's a lot of mountains there. In the winter time, it's really, really cold. It can be like up to 40 minus. So they call the place Little Alaska, actually. But it's beautiful. But basically, the winter is so tough. It's almost winter for 9 months a year. So, but basically what I do, because they do dog sledding here in the mountain, so it's like beautiful in the winter. It's beautiful tracks, so it's hard. And if you're not in the tracks, if it becomes like a snowstorm or something, you will like go through the snow. So basically I can run in the storms, and the wind is blowing and it's cold, and it's not so cold because it's higher up. But I actually take all the hardship from the environments in the mountains, and I just adapt it. So when I go into a race, I just imagine like the hardship of the mountains, because the mountains can be really, really tough. So when I went to Amazon, it's 35 plus degrees, and it's 100% humidity. But I had my long runs in the melting, when the snow was melting, like in April and May. So it was like, so I took some really, really tough like tracks in the mountains. So, but I basically adapt the hardship and everything from the mountain, and my head when I go into the other races. So
That's great. Yeah. And then also, so outside of your athletic career, you also are running your own company. So can you maybe just share a bit more about that as well?
I try to like I'm like a self-made woman. I have my own company. I do public speaking. It's in art and entertainment is like the name. But I basically do public speaking now. In some days, I'm going to like the government to talk. It's like I don't know the word, but it's a lot of ambassadors from Poland and from Romania who works like in prison systems. And I'm going to talk there about motivation, how to treat people, value. So it's like a lecture for a lot of politicians, and I have a lot of passion for other people. So I always like, I work from home, I do my running, I have my dog, it's a bull terrier. I go basically around and take like public speaking jobs in everywhere.
That's great. And if you had to like sum up what your mission is through your work, like what would you say?
It's to get less taboo, less shame. I think people have a lot of shame in so many levels. I have a special passion for the women's center, for the women who are in prostitution, because they obviously they have their own shame, and they don't deserve that society also are like shaming them. And it's really strong, resourceful, like women. They just need somebody to believe in them and support them and everything. So I think like the women's center, and really I'm also a feminist. I consider myself a feminist to do my work there, and I always try to spread good stuff on every when I go on TV, wherever I go, I try to inspire others and be helpful, and yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as someone who's triumphed over adversity, what key piece of advice would you give to someone who's dealing with challenges in their lives?
I will say that like adversity, challenges, like dark times in our lives, we can be like confused. We want to like, sometimes we don't know what to do. You know, life hits us all, you know, but try to, when you feel like you're in the dark of something or whatever you're like going on in your life, you have to be very, very strong and say to yourself that I deserve better than this, and I'm not giving up on anything. So you can be in a hard process or adversity or grief or whatever, but you can also like take the power in it and say that I deserve better, and do something, whatever you have like inside of you, and do something better in the situation, and just hold on to the hope. If it's like small or like bigger, it doesn't matter. Just hold on to something. And you know, hard processes, they always ends, you know. It always comes better days, and the adversity, and it comes to like an end. And also be a little bit angry, you know. I deserve better, you know. Be a force, and yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Gabriella. And yeah, what's next on the cards for you? Yeah, so what races are coming up? What are some goals that you have put in place for yourself?
Wow, I have a lot of I'm going to something I want to go to Arizona. First of all, it's a 275 kilometers long race, stage race, self-supported in Arizona in Grand Canyon. But I have a really big, I'm going to TED to speak, TEDx Arendal. So that's a big challenge. So that I have some other jobs, like I'm going to some public speaking, but the main thing is like the new event, the race in Arizona, and also my TEDx Arendal talk. So yeah,
super exciting. Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, as we come to the end as well, what advice would you give to someone, or what tips would you give to someone who's maybe interested in running, but then just not too sure where to start?
You know, always the main thing is to go out there, you know, go outside and be outside. Put on like the sneakers, and you can start like for 10 minutes or for 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. But I think to put on the sneakers and just start, because I know that from my own experience, and I think everyone, when you just get out and you get to like move your body, you can, like when you go out, you're like, oh shit, I don't do this, gosh. But after, you're always like happy about it, you know. And you never have to like start in like the big. Only put on the sneakers, get outside, and just challenge yourself bit by bit. Me, I didn't want to walk upstairs, you know, when I started. So just start, main thing, get out, and then just, it's like a pyramid, you can just build on it. But you will get very satisfied when you get out the door.
Okay, thanks for that. And then also now, just to end off, why would you encourage women and young girls to get involved in playing sport?
I think it's so much confidence we can get out of sport as women, and I have to say it, we are the best team. And I think it's very empowering as women and to support other women in it. So it's a lot of confidence in the sport, and also I'm so like, don't listen to naysayers, and it's okay to be insecure, it's okay to be afraid of goals, it's also okay to cry. And I think just go for, if you have a dream in sport, you just go for it, and it's don't listen to the naysayers. You will meet a lot of obstacles, and sometimes things just go wrong, and that's also okay, because it's then you take it as a experience. For me, a lot of stuff went wrong, and that's also okay, but you just go for that dream and be powerful and strong, and
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. And I think, like you also mentioned, there's just so much that comes with sport. It's not just the physical benefits, but even the emotional, the mental, getting to meet other people. So you're making friends. Yeah. And I think, like you've also, just through listening to your journey, sport really can just bring about so much for someone's life.
So much that comes with it. It's amazing, inspiring people. You can get so much inspiration. Just be open for it. You meet amazing people and amazing new places in sport, and that you get to experience. And you get like, it's always a sport is a it's like a journey. You know, it's so amazing, and yeah, and it's. For me, I think like sport, you really, and you also feel very much alive, you know. So, but it's amazing. You get to meet amazing people and places, and yeah.
Yeah. And I think also some people may view sport as there's only certain things you can do, but there's so many options out there as well. And like you said as well, it's just also about just starting, just get out there, start walking, or then eventually maybe you can start running, and then you can look at maybe there's something else you want to try.
Yeah, and you get so much experience, like in the sport. I see as I grow as an athlete, and the years go by, I see that I get more thicker skin. Like, but not like I'm so tough, like yeah, like that. But I get more strong, confident, and it's really amazing, like emotionally journey. You get a little bit tougher, and you reach one goal, and you feel better, and you feel a little bit stronger, and it also make you like seek to do more and other things, and that's also really, really amazing, and like the inner journey, and get the confidence and the experience, and you get a little bit thicker skin, and it's really, really amazing and cool. And I will also advise to seek other strong women as like, someone to look up to. I have it. I love Chelsea Handler. I think she's amazing. She is comedy, and she's so powerful, and she's truly a feminist. And we women, we need other women to look up to. So I'm so happy to come with the interview and her report. It's an honor, absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you again for the next episode. Be sure to subscribe to Her Sports social platforms to get the latest women in sports content.